We have this on Google. Yesterday, I should say throughout the month, Civil War had a moderate search volume. I can zoom in a little bit more. And of course, it now has maximum search volume. So this is a relative search number. 100 means it can't be higher. That relative to where Civil War was searched for before, this is maximum search load. It was around 50 on average. It's from 0 to 100. Yesterday was 73. It is now at 100. Media is writing about it, claiming Donald Trump is pushing it to win the midterms, as we showed you with that Common Dreams article. Mother Jones is claiming Jan 6ers are preparing for civil war. Stephen Marsh, who wrote the book The Next Civil War, is published in The Independent, saying, this is exactly what we've warned you about, and we've never been closer. There are a lot of people, prominent personalities, that are going to say, stop, no, and don't talk about it. The unfortunate reality is, as Google proves here, everyone is talking about it. Whether anyone wants to admit it, the conversation has been happening across social media. Yesterday, I think the most common word saw on YouTube was the word war. And I saw people getting pissed off, conservatives saying, stop saying that. But you can't tell people what to comment. I looked at the comments of some of these progressive YouTubers. War, 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 just every other word. On one of our videos that featured Charlie Kirk, new comments from a 4-year-old video, gloating, threatening, insulting. I mean, this is the craziest I've ever seen it.
Yeah, I mean, to your point, like, I don't think that anyone here would disagree with your estimation of what the left will do in response, right? I just don't think that there's a whole lot of choice.
I agree.
You know,
this is the dominoes falling over.
Yep.
Trump must use the law enforcement that he the law enforcement powers he has. The federal government, the DOJ, Cash, Dan, Pam Bondi, Kristi Noem, DHS, they must use their legally authorized authorities to stop violent crime like this. The left is happy that it happened. They've lionized Luigi Mangione. On primetime television, they lionized him. They cheered for him. They clapped for the terror attacks on the Tesla dealerships. They do not exist in the same government that we do. That is an observation. When Trump wins, they say he stole it, he's illegitimate. Trump is president now. Immigration was a principal issue. Many people are upset over the mass illegal immigration. So Trump says, we will enforce the law. Trump has used only the law as is granted to him, and every step of the way they've claimed what he's doing is illegal. They have lied about everything, from who is responsible for political violence to defending an adjudicated MS-13 gang member accused of beating his wife and charged with human smuggling. They have called him but a Maryland father. So when Trump says, I have to deport the narco gang member, they go on CNN, on MSNBC, and in these activist circles, and they look at the ignorant masses and say, Trump just arrested an innocent Maryland father and is sending him to a supermax prison to be tortured. So you know what the response is going to be. We all do. And it's the left is going to respond with escalation. Now, where does that go? If we follow this equation to its natural conclusion, we start entering into more variables as we make predictions moving forward. It seems likely the only reaction that we're going to see, for a variety of reasons, will be federal law enforcement. One, because it is the standard response. The federal government enforces the law. But there's several things to factor in. Dan Bongino and Charlie Kirk were good friends. Kash Patel and Charlie Kirk were good friends. And Donald Trump and Charlie Kirk were good friends. And so at the top of law enforcement, these people, they want something more than just the law and justice. Mm-hmm. They will follow that through. The left, I believe it's fairly obvious what they will do. They're already engaging in, and have been for a while. I mean, with the firebombing and the attack on the White House. That's back in 2020. From there are many variables, and it becomes difficult to predict. Will Donald Trump win? Will he lose? Will we win? Will we lose? What does winning look like? I have no idea. It's entirely possible that this moment, there is a strong probability tomorrow, the left is completely banned, shunned, and ostracized because we are seeing prominent progressives, some speak out against this, but we are seeing prominent Democrat leaders condemn this. There was booing in Congress over prayer for Charlie Kirk, so it's hard to know for sure. There is a strong possibility that this event is so shocking that even Democrats just say, leave me out of this, and tell the left, you're on your own. And then big tech cracks down and purges these people, and they are shunned and ostracized. However, what I will add is in Stephen Marsh's article for The Independent, he points out that as he was writing his book, The Next Civil War, January 6th happened. And he got a call from a friend who said, sorry about your book, it's over. This event is so shocking, the American people are going to step back from the edge of the cliff and say, we cannot go this far. And boy, was he wrong. From that, Stephen Marsh says he fears that the only thing that's going to happen is this escalation. The way there's a company right now, and I'm not going to show these photos. They're selling T-shirts, cartoon images of Charlie Kirk dying and bleeding to death. They're selling T-shirts. That's terrifying.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's exactly what you're talking about. I mean, the risk of leftist violence, it's here. It's manifested itself. It's gone kinetic, and it's going to ramp up more and more. And that's why the Trump admin can't half-bake this. That's why they can't run the risk of leaving any power left on the table. It has to be a complete crackdown, total crackdown. You need to break this and end this forever. Rip it out, root and stem, ostracize. Enough. They've demonstrated they're a death cult. They've demonstrated that they took enjoyment in watching what happened to Charlie Kirk. Enough. We can't live like this. We can't share a society with this. This is unacceptable.
So just a quick update. Kash Patel and Dan Bongino are on the ground in Utah. There will be a press conference within the hour. We will have that ready to go when it does drop. So we will be monitoring the situation. And when that press conference goes live, it will be up and we will watch that. But yeah. Anyway. Sorry, you were saying.
No, yeah. I was just saying they can't half-bake this. They have to come down as hard as humanly possible because you can't, like I was saying earlier, you can't leave any power on the table. You can't leave them a weapon to grab because they've demonstrated now they're willing to go there. They're willing to take out Charlie Kirk. And like I said, Charlie Kirk's politics represent probably a majority of Americans because it's very sensible conservative politics. They say the penalty for holding those beliefs is death. So no, they can't half-bake and say they come in hard and end this forever.
You know, the Yankees had that moment of silence. I think it was a moment of silence for Charlie.
Yeah.
Amazing. I saw that in Vegas, at least one marquee putting up a memorial for Charlie. The New York Times, on their header bar of their site, had a small memorial for Charlie Kirk. I am hoping that this was so genuinely shocking that many of the mainstream institutions step back and say, leave me out of this. Without naming some of these liberals, I don't know if you guys saw the videos of them crying, bawling their eyes out. And we were talking about it, and I think it was Kellen who was saying, I think maybe they realized just what they've been advocating for or directing, and maybe they're realizing this is not a game anymore. You know, Hassan apparently was very cognizant of the fact, it was reported by the New York Times, that he was telling his fans to stop cheering for this because he's next. He is the target on the left. Charlie is the target on the right, and he does not want that.
But at the same time, he was still spreading this rhetoric about how point scoring off of it.
Yep.
You know, saying that he essentially brought this on himself. So
and attacking the right for it, and saying
what do you make of that?
Well, I don't think they were horrified.
It's an addiction.
He hasn't learned anything.
It's an addiction.
He has not learned a thing.
Well, he is among the dumbest on the left.
Yeah.
And the biggest.
Right.
But it is an addiction. These people cannot stop themselves.
Well, and I don't think they were horrified. I mean, they're horrified and shocked, obviously, but they're horrified because they realized what they've been ratcheting up, what pressure they've been ratcheting up could happen to them.
It was a self-interested
right.
fear.
They were saying, "Oh gosh, that's on the table. I didn't know."
Yeah.
They weren't. This wasn't from empathy. This was from them.
Self-preservation. Yeah.
Precisely. And it won't happen to them because political violence is left-wing coded and rebellion is right-wing coded. That's why when you me and Tim were sitting here, like, when was the last right-wing riot? You could say J6, but you had to go back to like the Civil War because that's how the right wing expresses
Was it Brooks
itself.
Brothers?
Or Brooks Brothers, right? Yeah,
which is like, come on.
But it's classy. He's got a suit on and a tie on. That's right. But yeah, you got to go back to like the Civil War. We express ourselves in revolutions, and Charlie Kirk was a revolutionary. He took the mainstream and pulled it in the direction that he wanted to. The left wing, all they can express themselves through is violence. That's all they can do.
That's one of the reasons for that, I think, is because the left does look at violence as a dial,
right?
And the right looks at violence like a switch. The right says, no, we don't do that. We don't engage in those things. We don't do this kind of stuff. That's not proper. And it's the same reason that the GOP and Republicans have been getting, crapped on by Zoomers because they're the do-nothing Republicans. They don't, they won't ever stand up, blah, blah, blah. Because it's, the reason why Roe versus Wade took so long to overturn is because the Republicans went about it the right way. They got enough presidents to put enough votes on the court, and then got Roe brought back in front of the court. They went about it the right way. Democrats just try to go around the law because it's a dial. It's an access to power. Republicans or conservatives, people with the Republican impulses, when it's time for violence, it's massive violence. It's total war. It's annihilate the enemy. It's destroy them. It's leave no survivors, win at all costs, and destroy them. But it takes so long for the right to get there because it seems like the right actually has a real, honest, in touch understanding of the horror of that perspective. Whereas the left is like, well, I'm going to go beat this person up, and if I can get them to do what I want now, well, then it's fine.
It's just as simple as people on the right believe in the dignity of the human person.
True, yes.
And when they're given the opportunity to point score, which they were given with the death of Irina Zarutska, and also that poor little girl in Scotland who was being harassed by a migrant, they had the opportunity to politically point score about it and say, well, they voted for it. And I'm not saying that no one said that, but certainly I saw no prominent right-wing voices
largely it wasn't
repeating that.
Right.
Even when they had the opportunity, because they still believe in the sanctity of human life.
Thanks for checking out this clip from Timcast IRL. Make sure to watch the show live Monday through Friday at 8 p.m. Subscribe to this channel, and we will see you all there.